Hey everyone, welcome to Bed Talk. It's car talk, but I'm laying in bed. And this is episode 7. Anyway, so I was just thinking about something, right? And I know I talked a lot of politics today, but I was just thinking about it and being active on Twitter and on Reddit and on Facebook and on Instagram. I've noticed something very consistently. It's that the left-leaning community in general, I'm not going to say everyone who leans left, because that's obviously not true. I know a lot of good people who are progressives, but the left-leaning community in general is very intolerant to people who do not have the same ideas as theirs. I already explained earlier about the dude who told an anarchist to commit suicide just because he didn't believe in the welfare state. Right? That's freaking ridiculous. Right? And in general, leftist community is just toxic. There are thousands of people out there. Thousands. Maybe even millions who believe that women are superior to men, which isn't true. I don't want to say we're equal, but we are equal, but we're different. Right? Neither gender is particularly superior to the other, right? Men are naturally stronger. We're naturally more impulsive, whereas women are generally a little smarter. They think things through better, which makes them sometimes a little bit slower, but the work that they produce is much higher quality, if that makes sense. Right? And this is just general, like, based on statistics, based on psychology, and I'm not an expert. I would be willing to talk to an expert about that. But all I really know is that there are differences between the two genders. That doesn't make one superior than the other, or superior to the other, or inferior, right? So to say that women are superior to men, and then to refuse to say, hey, look, here are the good traits of being a man. Masculinity's good. It's okay that men are a little stronger than women. Women have guns. That makes us equal, right? It's okay to say that we're different but equal, and not enforce the idea that one is better than the other. Right? Back in the day, in fact, for centuries, men ruled over women. Men were thought to be superior to women. And in a lot of other countries around the world, men are still ruling over women, but not in the United States. Here in the United States, men and women have been truly equal for decades now. The women were granted suffrage in the 1920s. They were granted the right to work in the 1960s. They were, men and women are for the most part very equal. Different, but equal, like I said. There are also people out there who will accuse you of being racist or sexist simply for saying that you don't believe in, will say, I've been accused of being racist for saying I don't believe in reparations for slavery, because I do not believe that I should be held accountable for the actions of my ancestors, nor do I believe that people of color should be given free stuff because their ancestors were held in captivity. No, I'm Irish, which means that my ancestors were slaves too. My ancestors were treated like shit too. Does that mean I should get reparations? Not according to these people. It should only be given to African Americans according to these people. Right, and taken from whites because of the white ruling class or whatever bullshit. Right? Except, here's the thing. The things that they propose would also include people like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is, she's not African American. She's Indian and Jamaican. Jamaicans enslaved Africans and English. So she comes from a line of slave owners, wealthy slave owners. And she would receive reparations too from the reparation bill because it's, people who are dark skinned essentially. It's completely ridiculous. And to say that I oppose reparations, they call me a freaking white supremacist or some bullshit. It's so. There are leftists out there too, left and right, who. Leftists, left and right. Well, obviously left, but who want to ban all firearms from common use. Look, I'm not okay with any gun laws, but some is better than all. Honestly, there are so many people out there who are saying ban all guns, abolish the Second Amendment completely, right? That's ridiculous. And these people, they don't understand history either. Because remember, when the United States was founded, we had just fought in a revolution, a revolutionary war, and we won because the people had the right to keep and bear arms. And we set up our system with the Constitution. Well, at first it was the Articles of something. I can't remember the word right now. But anyway, they eventually got to the Constitution, and in that Constitution, it very clearly grants the people the right to keep and bear arms. And if you read the works of every one of them, you'd see that the reason the people have the right to keep and bear arms is to hold the government in check. That's what they mean by a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. They don't mean the military should own guns and it should be regulated by government. They mean if you read their works, if you look into the context, right, the military being composed of the body of the people as a whole, have a right to take up arms against the government in order to secure the freedom of the people, of the state, of the nation. So, pardon the rant, but yeah, leftists in general are really, really freaking annoying. Especially the social justice left, right? I want to separate the moderate left, or even progressives, even soc dems, from the social justice leftist feminazi kind of left. The ones who are screaming and crying. Oh, that was hilarious when Donald Trump was officially elected president. The ones like Trigglypuff, who was at a Steven Crowder event and just started like she was having a freaking seizure. She was freaking hilarious. And Big Red, the lady with the red hair and the glasses, she's so funny. Honestly, these feminazi ladies, they're more for entertainment than anything. And real quick, if there's anyone who's left-leaning who's listening to this now, I don't mean to offend you. I apologize if you feel like I'm generalizing. But, because I do realize that there's a difference between a progressive and a radical leftist. But my message to the tolerant left is this. Don't let the intolerant left win. Don't let them take over your party. Because if you do, you guys will lose. You guys will lose hugely to the Republicans, right? So if you let them take over your party, if you don't call them out whenever you see them, if you don't call out intolerance from people on your own side, the other side will use the intolerance that they saw, and they'll use it to strawman your side. They'll use it to propagandize against you, right? If you've seen people like Caitlin Bennett, people like, Liberty Hangout, people like even InfoWars, Paul Joseph Watson, Millie Weaver, people like that, they'll use what they see and what they hear from people who are members of your movement, and they'll use them against you. And they'll target independent voters, and independent voters will vote right because they'll see your side as intolerant and as, basically a bunch of hateful, angry bigots. College campuses. Leftists, liberals, please, if you guys want to survive, let the right wing speak on your campus without protesting. When you protest Ben Shapiro, when you protest Steven Crowder, when you protest even fellow progressive Jordan Peterson, what you're doing is you're again symbolizing to the right as well as to the independent voter that you guys are intolerant. Please, if you disagree with someone, feel free to call them out, to have a conversation, to say, here's why I disagree with you, X, 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 Y, 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 Z. Don't start yelling and screaming. Don't chant these dumb chants, right? I don't care if it's Black Lives Matter or healthcare is a human right. I don't personally care what you believe. If you just chant something over and over again, or if you're one of those idiots on Twitter who puts something in all caps and repeats it over and over again as if it means anything to anyone, you're part of the problem, okay? I don't care whether you lean left or right. If you don't allow people who have different views to speak, if you don't converse with them, if you don't listen to them, you will lose. Before Adolf Hitler took power in Germany, he was put in jail for hate speech. This is a little known fact. And what happened after that? His base got riled up because he was thrown in jail for hate speech. One of the big reasons Adolf Hitler, one of the biggest killers of world history, was elected and then later became tyrant was because he was thrown in jail for hate speech. And that riled up his base. So the more you don't allow people with opposing views to speak, the more you empower them, because the more you anger people who are independents, who are centrists, who are of different views. Over 40% of Americans now identify as independent. If you cannot land the independent vote as well as the vote from your own base, you cannot win, right? And that, I've had mixed predictions on the 2020 election. I don't like either the Democrats or the Republicans like Donald Trump. There are some Republicans who I like. Thomas Massey, just kidding. Ted Cruz, Rand Paul. Well, Rand Paul and Ted Cruz when they're not sucking the toe of Donald Trump. But, anyway, the point is this. Be tolerant of other people's views. Let them speak what they want to speak, or you will regret it. You will lose. If you do let them speak, they might change your mind on something. What a concept! Get out of your echo chambers every once in a while, people. It's fun! I go out of my way to start arguments with leftists a lot of the time, and even with conservatives. Right? That's what you should do. Don't do it disrespectfully. Don't be rude. Don't be yelling. Don't be hateful. But honestly, start a conversation with people you disagree with. It's awesome. It's informative. It makes you smarter. It makes you more well informed of your opponent's views, and everyone is better off because of it. Thank you for letting me go on this little rant. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you later.